with the good Lord as my witness 48 hours ago. It was a beautiful, gorgeous, sunny, 80-degree day. Now it's snowing again. Hey everybody, I'm James. Welcome back to RATTLECAN FAB SHOP. This week, what I learned in school. Interesting week. As you may have noticed from the cold open, it's cold here again. Technically, I don't believe that was snow. I believe that would have been classified as grapple. I just report. I don't make stuff like this up. So what do we do at school this week? Monday, we got our grades back from our MIG weld test, and I did all right. Could be better. Interesting thing that they do here is when you are done with your test and you hand it in, you sandblast it. I've never done that before, but playing with a sandblaster, well, that's kind of fun. And then we also started stick welding, and stick welding is, well, it is what it is. It looks mostly like this. Side note, be careful, especially if you're working around people that you are not used to working around and in surroundings that you are not used to working in, because if you are not paying attention, without going into a lot of detail, I got mildly arc flashed, and there for a couple of days, I was not real happy. I did this a lot. There may have been copious amounts of tears at some point. Anyways, just be careful, and it's called situational awareness. Have your head on a swivel. Make sure you know what's going on in your booth as well as the booths on either side of you and possibly the ones in back of you. So that's what we're doing. We did pata beads the first day, and then Monday I expect we'll maybe work on fillet welds, and then we'll take another test. 60-13 1/8 inch, and then 70-18 1/8 inch. I've got 5:30 seconds in the shop that I've been practicing on, but if you're only going to do it for 2 days and then you're going to move on, you get what you get. So that was Monday. Tuesday in machining class, we met our new best friends for like the next 4 weeks. This is my new best friend. This is my Bridgeport, the number 1 Bridgeport. It just means it's on the back wall and has a number 1. That's about the only significance of it. It is a 2 horsepower series. Are they all 2 horsepower? I don't know. Anyways, that's pretty much what it looks like. It's got something called a Wizard DRO on it. Looks like it is probably 80s, maybe 90s vintage type of stuff, just from the the general flavor of the plastic casting. They do have power X-axis feeds. It's suggested that we don't use them, at least in this early bit of the game. We watched a demo finishing up the lathe series. I'm done with my lathe project. So we watched those demos, and then we were kind of cut loose for about 20 or 25 minutes, and all I did was clean my machine up because it was just covered in a lot of these people, by these people I mean estudiantes, don't clean up after themselves. My guess is they're not required to clean up after themselves at home, either by their parents or their spouse, and pretty sure their rooms look about the same as their machines do. So I spent 25 minutes doing nothing with a magnet, just a magnet on the end of a scribe, just pulling crap out of there. It was gross. I'm bringing a brush in so I can, silly thing, I would like to be able to read the marks on the scale on my rotating vise. I'm just talking crazy. So anyways, that's what we're doing. And after that, we went to the metal store, and we picked up some stock, some various sizes of stock for a project that I'll allude to in a moment. We continued working on welding symbols, and that's when I remembered that I may have had some additional resources out in the shop for those. So I'm going to be studying those a little more in depth. Wednesday, went to CNC class and found out that I did not do very good on my CNC exam. I have a certain pattern that I do when I'm taking a test. Is I will look at this, or anytime I'm given a CNC print and I have to write a program for it. So I look at the print, at what I'm supposed to do, and I start writing things down. I start circling things. I start figuring out measurements that aren't delineated on the print. Sometimes you'll want to know a space between 2 points, and it's not figured out. So I try to figure out all of that stuff beforehand. The instructions were we had to mill off 2 squares. One, I was supposed to do climb cutting, which is this way. I don't know what that looks like on the camera. Clockwise. I'm supposed to do it clockwise. The other one, I was supposed to do counterclockwise. And I promptly wrote my little arrows to remind myself to do it as a climb cut and to do it as a climb cut.
Oh my God, you're an idiot!
And because of that, you have a whole sequence of points that are wrong because you're going the wrong freaking direction. Feeds and speeds that I was worried about, I shouldn't have been worried about because they were right. And so yeah, so that, and then I had a tool offset that was off by not much, but it's either right or it's wrong. So what do we learn? You don't get mad, you don't cry. I may have had a Snickers bar afterwards, which is probably not the thing I should do, but I did. And then we carry on because that was the last day of mills. And so now we are starting CNC lathes, and it's bizarre because I'm doing manual lathes and the cutters are on the wrong side of the head. They're 2 totally different beasts. Not totally different, but there's some major differences. So anyway, so we're starting the uphill climb for CNC lathes. I think we've got 4 weeks of that, 4 or 5 weeks. It'll be a little easier. There's only 2 axes instead of 3, and one of them, the relationship just doesn't change because the middle of the spindle is the middle of the spindle. So, anyways, that's what we started. Thursday in metrology class, we were doing high amplification. So we were using mu meters. It looked to me like a test indicator, but it just had an electronic transducer in it. Finicky as all get out. Stuff we were using was some really vintage stuff. There may have been tubes involved. I'm not sure. We also were talking about the old Sheffield shadow measuring devices, verniers with test indicators on them, or height indicators. It's just, but it was the same kind of thing again. You get a couple of parts, and you measure. You go through a series of measurements, and then you have a master, and you have something to compare it to. Something that was really cool is during the process of this, I got to see a pretty darn well, at least in my rattle can brain, a pretty expensive set of gauge blocks. This was a Mitutoyo set of ceramic, what we would call, I think now they're known as a 0 grade of inspection blocks. And if you go on the marketplace, they're about $4,500. So that was kind of cool. That was a long lab. I got out at 12 something instead of 11 something. And then the big discovery of the week is that I have got this. This is, we're using the Precision Machining Technology textbook, and something that is not required but is available is there is a workbook and project book. Well, I've been working through the workbook part of it on my own because, I'm afraid of failure, so I over-prepare. So just on a lark, I was looking in the back of this book, and there are a whole series of projects that you can do. And these projects range from extremely simple to moderately complex. And each one of these projects comes with a plan, and then it comes with a list of materials. It comes with some general tool requirements, a general process of the way that you should do this. If you have to figure anything about feeds and speeds, it will list all of those tools out, and it will at least initially suggest the formula that you use, and then you have to figure out what all of your feeds and your speeds are. And then on the last page, it gives you an inspection sheet. This is, at least my understanding, is designed to be part of the curriculum because there is a column there for the student measurements, and then there is also a column there for an instructor measurements and comments. So if you were so inclined, you could use this as part of your curriculum. Now, this book is part of this NIMS certification series for, I believe my prints say Precision Machine Technology on them. And so as an extra project in my open lab times, I have, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, I have gotten a hold of the metal for the first 3 or 4 projects. And so today in open lab, I spent the day cutting these pieces down, getting them down into rough shapes, so that I can, like I said, in open lab times, once we have, because I know that what we're going to talk about, cleaning up the end of a piece on Monday, or not Monday, but on Tuesday, we're going to talk about how to clean up the end of a piece. And then once I do that, then you can lay everything out and start to work on, there's a drill drift, there is a T-slot cleaner, there is a C-clamp, a tapping block, a C-clamp, and this is all stuff that is building on the skills that you're learning in your courses. So that's what I plan on doing with my open lab time as we go through the course. That's it. That's what I did this week. Passed a couple of tests, did not so good on another test, got arc flashed, and found some projects to do. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go because my wife is upstairs now dealing with companies because some dirtbag somehow got a hold of some of her personal information and overnight opened up 7 checking accounts and a savings account. So now we're going to deal with the aftermath of identity theft, and it's probably going to be a good thing if we don't find out who it was, because if they're local, Might be an interesting day. Anyways, if you got comments, put them in the comment section beneath the sermon notes. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to hit the little bell so you can hear the next time when I'm complaining because the weather changes in Ohio in the spring. Who knew? Have a great week. Remember, it's not about the mistakes you make. It's about how you recover from them. You guys have a great day. I'll see you next week. Cheers. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Here's one that you might enjoy as well. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that button, hit the bell next to it so that you get a notification when we drop a new video. If you got comments, put them down beneath the sermon notes. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. You guys have a great weekend. Cheers.